Breaking news coming in the last couple of minutes, as it has been announced by both CMLL and New Japan Pro Wrestling that Stephanie Vaquer is leaving both organizations. She also, according to other reports, has offers on the table from both WWE and AEW, but is expected to be joining World Wrestling Entertainment. All of the details on that. Plus, AEW stars have been bitten by the injury bug this year, and according to WWE talents, they're not surprised that's happened. We'll let you know why. Speaking of those injuries, Eddie Kingston, he has undergone surgery on his fractured leg injury. Ref Cam could be on its way to WWE. Mercedes Moné reportedly was scheduled for a special entrance at Forbidden Door. It was cancelled. We'll let you know why. And Konosuke Takeshita says facing Kazuchika Okada and AEW is destiny. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off with this developing and breaking news story at the time of recording, and that is that Stephanie Vaquer is leaving both CMLL and also New Japan Pro Wrestling. Stephanie Vaquer, the former New Japan Strong Women's Champion, after dropping the championship to Mercedes Moné at Forbidden Door, is departing both CMLL and New Japan. CMLL has announced that Stephanie Vaquer will be departing the company as well as New Japan Pro Wrestling. Vaquer is being stripped of her CMLL Women's World Tag Team Championships, which she held with Zexus, and also the CMLL Women's Championship 2. Now, this is a statement coming from CMLL. It's a joint statement from CMLL as well as New Japan Pro Wrestling. It says, "Thank you for supporting CMLL and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Citing personal reasons, Stephanie Vaquer has elected to depart from the CMLL and New Japan rosters effective immediately. As a result, Vaquer will not compete in her scheduled match at the upcoming Fantastica Mania on July 13 in San Jose. Furthermore, CMLL hereby announces Vaquer is stripped of both the CMLL World Women's and World Women's Tag Team Championships. Both CMLL and New Japan Pro Wrestling would like to apologize to our fans worldwide for the abrupt announcement. This Saturday at Fantastica Mania, USA, a new CMLL World Women's Champion will be crowned in a three-way match. We remain committed to ensuring the highest quality wrestling for our fans at Fantastica Mania, USA, this Saturday and at all future events." Now, more details from this are coming from Sean Rossap of Fightful Select, who is reporting that Stephanie Vaquer is the belle of the ball. Vaquer has elected to remove herself from the rosters of CMLL and New Japan Pro Wrestling, citing personal reasons, and as a result has been stripped of those titles that we just mentioned. Now, last week, it was revealed that she had interest from both AEW and WWE, despite having a CMLL contract. Fightful Select are reporting they can confirm that Vaquer has had talks with both AEW and WWE, and both companies have maintained interest. As things stand, Fightful have confirmed that she's not signed with AEW or closing in on a deal there, though there was interest conveyed. Fightful have been told WWE showed interest after Forbidden Door. Sources within AEW who were at the show last week believed she was likely headed to WWE. Now, why would CMLL let her out of her contract just like this? Well, CMLL has allowed talent out of their deals when they've had big US offers in the past. And in fact, sources in Mexico are now suggesting she's on her way to WWE. According to Dario Record, which is a Mexican-based publication, Stephanie Vaquer will be joining WWE on a multi-year contract, according to a source close to the negotiations. According to this article, there were several negotiations and both WWE and AEW presented their best offers to try and convince her, but it looks like she's on her way to WWE. So what are your thoughts on this story? The abruptness of it, how do you think she'll be booked in WWE? How do you think she'll fit into the roster? Do you think she'll go to NXT? Could we see Vaquer versus Julia in NXT? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments section below. Now, AEW, as mentioned, have a few injuries at the moment, as well as actually several rosters, WWE too. But according to a report from Mike Johnson of PW Insider, WWE talents are not surprised by the perceived high injury rate in All Elite Wrestling, with wrestlers in WWE crediting the injuries to wrestling at most once or twice a week. During a long discussion about WWE cutting back on live events this summer, Johnson noted that WWE talents found it difficult when they were performing less regularly during the Thunderdome era of WWE TV. Quote, "One thing that was regularly privately complained about during the Thunderdome era was that they found it a lot harder to perform when they were only competing on Mondays or Fridays or doing the SmackDown and Raw tapings because they could not callous their bodies to the ring. I had numerous top talents in WWE tell me they were actually very relieved when they were able to get back into the touring situation because it's actually easier on their body, because their body would never get a chance to sort of heal from the weekly beatings, and they would just get into the groove and be used to it. That was actually easier on the body than wrestling, having 5-6 days to heal, then resting again. They could get into the ring and take bumps. They could get in the ring and do drills and do repetition and things of that nature. But performing is a completely different animal," Mike Johnson said. He continued by saying many of them felt they were off quite a few steps in the beginning of the touring process because they had not been doing it. They actually relayed to me that they felt it was easier to be wrestling full time than it would be to wrestle once and then be off a week and then wrestle again. I don't know if there's anything scientific to this, but there have been WWE talents who have told me they are not surprised at the high injury rate that sometimes happens at All Elite Wrestling because those talents are not consistently wrestling all the time in comparison to a WWE talent. They are wrestling on Wednesday and then maybe they're wrestling on a Saturday, and unless they're choosing to do independence, they're not doing anything else. Of course, All Elite Wrestling has some high-profile injuries at the moment. Eddie Kingston, we'll talk about in just a second, Adam Copeland and Adam Cole, all currently out of action. The injury rate between WWE and AEW, though, isn't too different, with reports in May noting that 14.9% of the AEW roster was out-injured, while 12.9% of the WWE roster was on the shelf too. So what do you think about this story? Do you think there's anything to this? Or as the report mentions, there's really no difference in the injury rate. So is it a load of nonsense? Let me know your thoughts about that one too. Now, speaking of these injuries, Eddie Kingston, an update on his injury situation. It's safe to say that Eddie Kingston in AEW has been missed ever since he fractured his leg in a match against Gabriel Kidd at New Japan Resurgence back in May. But while the road to recovery still has a ways to go, fans can at least take some solace that Kingston is one step closer to getting back in the ring. On Instagram earlier this afternoon, Kingston posted a photo of himself in a hospital bed where he flashed his hand signal and could be seen sporting a scruffy beard. The Mad King announced that it's done, referring to the surgery, and asked his followers what's up. Now, shortly after, PW Insider confirmed that Kingston's surgery had been a success, with the only complication being that the procedure took place a day later than originally expected. Those who have been following updates on Kingston's injury closely will recall that, despite being injured back in May, the former AEW Triple Crown champion wasn't able to get surgery at the time due to the severity of the fracture. As such, doctors instead had Kingston rehab his injured leg, allowing it to heal naturally before going under the knife. Despite the hardship, Kingston's spirit has remained positive, with a singular focus on getting back in the ring. As previously reported, recovery time for Kingston will take up to 10 months, meaning he would be set to return to AEW and New Japan in May of 2025, barring any setbacks. This scenario would mean that Kingston would miss up to 1 year in the ring, the longest amount of time Kingston will have missed during his 22-year career. If we get any more details on that in the future, we'll let you know. Now, WWE, they've mixed up production quite a lot under the TKO era, and they could be set to do it even more. Now, WWE has received a lot of praise on television following Lee Fitting taking over media and production duties from Kevin Dunn at the beginning of the year, with unique camera shots often being used. Per Fightful Select, there has been some backstage discussions about potentially utilizing a referee camera, which reportedly could make its way to TV soon. Many sports organizations currently use ref cams to provide a unique point of view of the lead official. And ref cams aren't a new thing in pro wrestling, with WCW utilizing refer eye cameras in the early 1990s. Referee would wear helmets with cameras attached to them. In addition to that, it was actually used in TNA wrestling too, specifically in X Division matches for a period of time as well. While Fightful's report was specifically related to NXT, it's currently unclear if the idea is only being considered for the developmental brand or if referee cameras could be a main roster addition as well. Now, Mercedes Moné, the double champion that defeated the aforementioned Stephanie Vaquer at Forbidden Door, reportedly she had a special entrance planned for the pay-per-view that didn't end up happening. At the New Japan and AEW Forbidden Door pay-per-view event, Mercedes Moné defeated Stephanie Vaquer to retain the TBS Championship and win the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. The new double champion celebration was then interrupted by the returning Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Well, the night was big for Moné, and she celebrated big with an after party, it seems the event was supposed to be even bigger. Speaking on Heel Squad, Mercedes Monet's advocate and producer Kevin Undergaro revealed that the TBS champion planned to have a big entrance for her Forbidden Door bout against Stephanie Vaquer. He said, quote, "We were supposed to have a big entrance. I didn't manage it, so it didn't happen." Now, Undergaro is the producer of Monet's AEW theme music, and we don't have any more details on what that entrance would have been. If we find out any more, we'll let you know in a future video. Finally, Konosuke Takeshita versus Kazuchika Okada. Could it happen in AEW? Well, according to Takeshita, it is destiny. Ahead of his first G1 Climax tournament, AEW star Konosuke Takeshita has called a potential match with Kazuchika Okada Destiny. For years, Japanese pro wrestling fans have been clamoring for a potential matchup between Okada and Takeshita. The two competitors have been top stars for New Japan and DDT respectively. However, Takeshita has reached new heights of popularity since he signed with AEW back in 2022. After nearly 17 years with New Japan Pro Wrestling, Okada made the jump to AEW in March of this year, where he is currently the AEW Continental Champion and a member of the Elite with the Young Bucks and Jack Perry. Speaking with Tokyo Sports, Konosuke Takeshita was asked about potentially facing Okada now that both men are all Elite. He answered, quote, "I think it's destiny. Even before I came to the US, some people said that Takeshita versus Okada was a dream match, and while we had completely different paths, now we belong to the same organization. When the time is right, I think that the match versus Okada will happen, and I'd like to make it a match that attracts more attention and reaches wrestling fans around the world than it does now." On aiming to prove himself as the leader of the new generation in his first G1 Climax tournament, Takeshita said, quote, "I heard that the catchphrase for this year's G1 is Kesho Psycho, and I thought that would be appropriate for me, decide the strongest. I think we are really at a turning point in the current era as players of our generation are leading the way at AEW. I will prove who is leading the way. I will prove it." Now, Konosuke Takeshita will compete in the B block of the G1 Climax 34 tournament, which begins on Saturday, July 20. But there you go, guys. Latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey, guys. Thank you for watching, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.